This is video 1 from Unit 8, Lesson 2. We're still going to be solving quadratics. This time we're going to do so by factoring. Okay, so we've talked about factoring in Unit 7. And so now we're going to talk about factoring and then the zero product property. So the zero product property says that if A times B equals 0, then either A or B must equal 0. So after we factor something, so let's say we factor a trinomial and it's x plus 2 times x minus 3, and that equals 0. Then the zero product property tells me that either x plus 2 or x minus 3 must be 0. So that's how I solve. I'm going to separate those and make two separate equations. So I'm going to write x plus 2 equals 0 or x minus 3 equals 0. So if that's the case, then that means that x equals negative 2 or x equals positive 3. So there's my two solutions then. Okay, so basically it's just going to be the factoring like in Unit 7, but once we get here, then we solve. We set each piece equal to 0. Okay. Move this. Okay. So solve the quadratic equations by factoring. So I know I'm not using square roots here because I have an x squared and an x term. So I can't do this like I just did in the previous lesson. What I want to do is I want to factor this trinomial. So I start with my two parentheses. I'll just keep this equals 0 to the right. Okay, so to get x squared, I know I'm going to have x times x. And then to get negative 28, so factors of 28 are 4 and 7, 2 and 14, and 1 and 28. Okay, it's a negative 28, so one has to be positive, one has to be negative. So I'm thinking 7 and 4 is how I'm going to get negative 3 when I do my outer and inner. 4, 7. One of them has to be positive, one of them has to be negative. Well, I want to add to be negative 3. So I think I want the 7 to be negative, the 4 to be positive. Let's just check our outer and inner real quick. So the outer is negative 7x. The inner is 4x. And that equals negative 3x. Okay, so once we're there, then to solve, I take my factors and I set each piece equal to 0. And solve. So over here, I got to subtract 4. Here I need to add 7. So x equals negative 4, or x equals positive 7. And those are my solutions. Those are my answers. Okay? Let's look back. Let's look at this one. When I see a number in front of x squared, first thing is let's see if we could factor it out. Well, 2 doesn't go into 5 or 3, so I can't. So it's going to be in here. So I have 2x and x. That's how I get x squared. And I need to get a 5. So factors of 3. Well, I only have 1 and 3. So let's see if I put 1 here and 3 here. The outer would be 6x. The inner would be 7x. Or I'm sorry, 1x, which together gives me 7x. Okay, so that's not right. So let me switch my 1 and my 3. Okay, so let's check that. My outer, 2x, inner, 3x. Okay, so that worked. Now set each piece equal to 0 to solve. So over here I have 2 steps. I got to subtract 3 and divide by 2. And over here I just needed to subtract 1. So there's my 2 solutions. Okay? Okay, let's look at these 2 other examples. Okay, so factor. Alright, so I need to multiply to be 63, and then my outer and inner add to be 16. So now would be a good time for you to pause this video and try to figure out the, how it factors, and go ahead and solve it. Okay, so you should get 7 and 9, and both positive. So it's factored, and then set each piece equal to 0, and solve. And there's your 2 solutions, -7, -9. So if you've noticed, all of these that we've done so far are equal to 0. If they're not equal to 0, like this example, the first thing I want to do is get it equal to 0. So that means I need to subtract 29 from both sides. -1 minus 29 is -30. Okay, now I can factor and solve. So it has to be equal to 0 in order to factor. Okay, so multiplies to give me -30 and adds to give me -1. So I think I need a +5 and a -6. And then set each piece equal to 0. And I get -5 and 6 as my solutions. Okay, let's do Unit 8, Assignment 2.